the month of February, we're going to experience a very intense period. It will be, from my perspective, it would be the most intense period, astrologically speaking, for the entire 2026. Not just because the Saturn and Neptune conjunction, but also because we have a new moon eclipse in Aquarius, and we also have Uranus turns direct and Mercury turns retrograde. So this month, the month of February, we have to prepare ourselves. Eclipse season, retrograde season, and Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So this is my simple general take on the energy, astrological energies of the month of February for all 12 rising signs. For the first rising sign, we will go to Aries rising, the most accurate, followed by Aries sun and Aries moon. For my dear Aries rising friends, this month of February is going to be major because Saturn and Neptune is going to conjunct in your sign, the first house. Not only that, Mercury is going retrograde later in the month in your 12th house of Pisces, and there's going to be an eclipse as well as a full moon in your 5th house, 11th house axis. Full moon earlier in the month in the sign of Leo will highlight the achievement and the endings in your 5th house sector, which is your creativity, children, basically things that lighten up your heart. This is the house that is basically the heart, Leo. This is the house of creativity, the house of self-expression. Full moon there will highlight your achievement and things that you need to end. On the second half of the month, there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 11th house. This is a growth, but a growth through tumultuous period, or a growth through some sort of crisis, or a growth through something that is that you don't expect. That's the nature of eclipse. It's in your 11th house, friendship, networking, social media. Of course, you're going to experience Saturn-Neptune conjunction in your 1st house. Your identity is going to change. Your aura, your appearance may be also going to change. The way you deal with the world, your perception of the world is going to change. And at the very end of the month, we're going to experience a lot of energy in Pisces, but especially Mercury turns retrograde in Pisces in your 12th house. This is about your mental health. You have to remember, 12th house is not the house that Mercury likes to be in, and the sign of Pisces is Mercury's sign of debilitation. So this is extra potent for you, Aries rising, because of the house and the sign. So pay close attention to your mental health. For the next rising sign, we will go to Taurus rising, the most accurate, followed by Taurus sun and Taurus moon. For the month of February, for my dear Taurus rising friends, it's going to be major. First of all, Saturn and Neptune conjunction will happen this month. Earlier in the month, 1st of February, we're going to experience full moon in Leo. For Taurus rising, Leo is your 4th house. There's a culmination and ending in terms of your 4th house: family, home, mother, ancestry, roots, your emotional foundation. Something is being illuminated so you can see the results and you can end if it needs to end. And then after that, we're going also to experience a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. For Taurus rising, Aquarius is your 10th house. Something major, unexpected, but the intention is for growth. It's going to happen in your career. Just pay attention to your surroundings in terms of your career. Maybe your office, place that you work in, career. Something major, something unexpected that will lead to growth, right? Later in your life, but it will lead to growth. But the event going to be unexpected because that's the nature of eclipses. It's happening in your 10th house. And then after that, Saturn, Neptune conjunction. It will happen in Aries in your 12th house for Taurus rising. Pay attention to your mental health. This is major. And of course, we're going to experience a lot of energy in Pisces, including Mercury retrograde in Pisces. For Taurus rising, Pisces is your 11th house. Because 10th house is Aquarius, 11th house is Pisces, 12th house Aries, 1st house is Taurus. So there's going to be review or things that could come back into your life in regards to friendship, networking, social media, or maybe old dreams. Because the 11th house is hopes and dreams and also long-term goals. So there's going to be a review and things that need to be revisited in order for you to put a closure on it. For the next rising sign, we will go to Gemini rising, the most accurate, followed by Gemini sun and Gemini moon. For my dear Gemini rising friends, this month of February is going to be major like any other sign. But it is especially important for you because your chart ruler, which is Mercury, is going to be retrograde in the end of the month. So earlier in the month, we're going to experience a full moon in Leo. For Gemini rising, Leo is your 3rd house. Full moon culmination in terms of your 3rd house. Communication, siblings, skills, social media could also be here. Remember, 3rd house is self-made wealth also. So there's some ending or culmination in this part of your chart. And then we're going to experience a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. This is trining you from the 9th house because you're Gemini, right? So the eclipse, even though the energy can be disorienting because it's trining you, you can handle it. It's in the 9th house. What is the 9th house? A new start in a form of an eclipse in terms of travel, in terms of your philosophy of life, your higher minds, universities, law. Yes, foreigners, anything foreign related, right? This is also the house of the father, publication. And then after the eclipse, we're going to experience Saturn, Neptune conjunction in Aries. For Gemini rising, Aries is your 11th house. Because Gemini 12th house is Taurus, 11th house is Aries. There's going to be a solidifying energy of dreams. So dreams being solidified by Saturn Neptune conjunction in terms of your 11th house. What is the 11th house? Hopes and dreams, long-term goals, friendship, networking. But you also have to remember the downside of Saturn Neptune conjunction is not only the solidification of dreams, but also solidification of nightmares. Pay attention. And then lastly, in the last part of the month, Mercury, your chart ruler, is going to go retrograde in Pisces. For Gemini rising, Pisces is your 10th house. So revisiting things related to your career. So pay attention to your career sector, because maybe there's a review of your career, maybe there's some unexpected things that could come back, maybe to haunt you, or maybe it could come back for you to finish in terms of your career. For the 4th rising sign, we will go to Cancer rising, the most accurate, followed by Cancer sun and Cancer moon. For my dear Cancer rising friends, the month of February is going to be major because Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries in your 10th house. Okay, let's break down the major theme of February 2026. There's going to be a full moon in Leo in your 2nd house, money sector. Ending, culmination, and revelation, illumination in terms of your money, 2nd house for Cancer. And then there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in your 8th house, because for Cancer, Aquarius is your 8th house. This is a growth event, but growth through shaking up, growth through something unexpected, growth through things that could shock you. Aquarius is already the sign of shock, unconventional, and eclipse is also unconventional. The energy is like that. So just pay attention to 8th house matters like sex, intimacy, investments. Be careful. crisis and death, transformation. And then after that, we're going to experience Saturn, Neptune conjunction in Aries in your 10th house. Yes, in your 10th house, Aries. Something is going to solidify, maybe your dreams in terms of your career, or hopefully not, but it could be nightmares in terms of your career. So just pay attention. And then of course, Mercury is going to retrograde in the last part of the month in Pisces. This is going to trine you, right? This is going to trine you because Pisces is your 9th house. Because it's going to trine you, it's still Mercury retrograde in the 9th house. 9th house is travel, long travel. Pisces is the sign of faraway lands, and Mercury is the significator of travel also, communication. Be careful, be mindful, and prepare for any travel disruptions. For the next rising sign, we will go to Leo rising, the most accurate, followed by Leo sun and Leo moon. For my dear Leo rising friends, the month of February is going to be intense because you are one of the signs that's going to be deeply involved in the energy of February. Earlier in the month, we're going to experience a full moon in Leo in your 1st house. You are the star of that full moon. Illumination, culmination in terms of your 1st house. Aura, appearance, energy. Basically, whatever you have done in terms of your 1st house, the results could happen, could be revealed by you, by this full moon in Leo. And then of course, we're going to experience a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 7th house for Leo, right? This is a growth through shock. In terms for you, Leo rising, it's happening in your 7th house, relationship, marriage, partnership, including business partnership. Be careful, right? Pay attention to your partnership. If you're not married, pay attention to your partner. If you're married, pay attention to your marriage. If you're in business partnership or about to take on a new partner, be careful, pay attention, because eclipse energy can be unexpected. And then of course, Saturn-Neptune conjunction, that's going to happen in Aries, right? For Leo rising, Aries is your 9th house. So this is going to trine you. In fact, Saturn and Neptune is going to trine you for a long time. We're going to have a harmonizing energy with you from the 9th house of travel, foreigners. This is the house of the law, universities, philosophies, higher minds. This is the house of publication. Whatever you want to achieve in terms of your 9th house, this is the time. Start. And of course, we're going to experience Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces. For Leo rising, Pisces is your 8th house, because for Leo, 7th house is Aquarius, 8th house is Pisces. So there's going to be a review in terms of your 8th house matters, investments, other people's money, other people's resources, intimacy, crisis, right? Maybe crisis management. Who knows? Maybe you work in a crisis management, right? There's going to be a review, and there's going to be something that could come back to you in terms of your 8th house for you to finish it. For the next rising sign, we will go to Virgo rising, the most accurate, followed by Virgo sun and Virgo moon. For my dear Virgo rising friends, this month of February is going to be major because your chart ruler Mercury will be involved in retrograde in the last part of the month. So for Virgo rising, there's going to be a full moon in Leo in your 12th house. This is a culmination of your effort in terms of your mental health. And then after that, there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in your 6th house. This is a growth period of your life, but a growth through something shocking, unexpected. In your 6th house, health, work, pets, daily details, daily chores, the details. This is the improvement of your life. This is the house of improvement. Be very, very careful with your health. Take care of your health. And then of course, we're going to experience Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries for Virgo rising, right? Aries is your 8th house, because for Virgo, 7th house is Pisces, Aries is the 8th. There's going to be a solidification of dreams that could somehow make your 8th house feel much better, less heavier. Or there's going to be a solidification of nightmares in regards to your 8th house that could make your 8th house even more challenging. So just be careful in terms of your investments, in terms of intimacy, in terms of other people's money, in terms of debt. Just be careful. And you also have to pay attention to the ruler of your 8th house in your natal chart. Because for Virgo rising, 7th house is Pisces, 8th house is Aries. So the original ruler or the natural ruler of the 8th house is Mars. Pay attention wherever Mars is located in your natal chart, in your progress chart, and also Mars located in transit. And of course, later in the month, in the last part of the month, we're going to experience a lot of energy in Pisces in your 7th house, including your chart ruler, Mercury retrograde in Pisces in your 7th house. People could come back to you. Or maybe there's a review in terms of your relationship, marriage, and business partnership. For the next rising sign, we will go to Libra rising, the most accurate, followed by Libra sun and Libra moon. For my dear Libra rising friends, this is going to be a major month for you, like every other sign. Start by full moon in Leo in your 11th house. This is the house of friendship, networking, social media, hopes and dreams, and long-term goals. Something has been achieved or something has been is going to be illuminated by the universe for you to take action in terms of whether you want to end it, you want to improve it, or you want to just let it go. Because full moon is culmination and ending. If you do want to let it go, or maybe you want to change it, right? It's up to you. But still, full moon is an energy where the universe is asking you, this is the result of your efforts in your 11th house. Do you want to keep it, or do you want to discard it, or do you want to change it? And then of course there's going to experience new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius for Libra rising. This is the 5th house, trining you, helping you. This eclipse, even though it is shocking, but this is a growth eclipse, it will happen in your 5th house. Even though it's happening at 28 degrees, nearly this is the degrees of completion, 28, 29, right? This is a critical degree. It's still happening in your 5th house of joy, and this is a North Node eclipse. So the universe is still asking you to pay attention more to your joy, your creativity, your children, your hobbies, right? Your romance, things that make you happy, right? But it could come from something shocking or unexpected in your life. And then after that, we're going to experience Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries in your 7th house. This energy, major energy, is going to oppose you. So it's happening in your 7th house. Marriage, relationship, business partnership. This is the time for you to solidify the partner of your dreams, or it could solidify the nightmare type of people that could be involved with you in a relationship. You don't want that. So be aware. But as a Libra rising, you know how to deal with relationship, because the key energy of Libra, the key focus of Libra is relationship. And then of course, in the last part of the month, we're going to experience Mercury retrograde in Pisces in your 6th house for Libra rising. So review in terms of your work, revisiting part of your work, your health, your pets, your daily details, your chores, the daily grind. There's going to be a review, and maybe there's something that you thought you have finished in the past. It's going to come back in your 6th house. For the next rising sign, we will go to Scorpio rising, the most accurate, followed by Scorpio sun and Scorpio moon. For my dear Scorpio rising friends, this month of February is going to be major. First, we're going to experience a full moon in Leo. For Scorpio rising, a full moon in Leo is going to happen in your 10th house. Culmination and ending in terms of your 10th house. Career. Finally, you will get the recognition that you deserve. This full moon could highlight that. And then there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius in your 4th house. Family. Something shocking, something unexpected that will lead to growth in terms of your 4th house, family, home, properties, maybe mother, your lineage. Just pay attention. And then of course there's going to be a Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. For Scorpio, Aries is your 6th house because your 7th house is Taurus. Aries is your 6th house. There is a solidification of your dreams, of the good things regarding the 6th house with this conjunction. But it also could create some problem if you're not careful. So just be mindful of your health, your work, the details of your life, your chores, your daily details, right? The improvement that you've been striving for in your life, and also pay attention to your pets. And lastly, we're going to experience a lot of energy of planets Mercury, Venus, and Sun will move to Pisces. It will happen in your 5th house, but there's going to be a Mercury retrograde in Pisces in your 5th house, meaning that there's going to be a review and maybe a revisiting. Something is going to revisit you from the past in terms of your relationship, because 5th house is romance, past lovers, but 5th house is also your children, creativity, joy, hobbies, right? This is also the house of gambling, entrepreneurship. Maybe the ideas that you dismissed in the past could come back for you to finish it. So this retrograde is going to happen in your 5th house. For the next rising sign, we will go to Sagittarius rising, the most accurate, followed by Sagittarius sun and Sagittarius moon. For Sagittarius rising, February 2026 is going to be major, just like any other sign. First is going to be a full moon in Leo. For Sagittarius rising, Leo is your 9th house. You're the original sign of the 9th house, so you know how to deal with the 9th house things. Because this is full moon, there's culmination in terms of the 9th house, which is traveling, which is foreigners, which is philosophy of life, the way you expand your mind, universities, publication, you know this energy. And then there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius in your 3rd house, because for Sagittarius rising, 2nd house is Capricorn, 3rd house is Aquarius. There's going to be a shake-up that eventually will lead to growth in terms of your siblings, communications, and skills. This is also self-made wealth. Pay attention. After that, we're going to experience Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the sign of Aries in your 5th house. This is a good and lovely long-term transit because it's going to trine you in a house that is a good house, a lucky house. This is a Dharma house. So a solidification of romance or a solidification of nightmare in terms of the 5th house. So be mindful in terms of your children, your romance, your creativities, your hobbies, entrepreneurship, or maybe gambling, but just be mindful of this energy. Even though it is trining you and happening in the good house, still, if it still involves Saturn, you still will have to do the work. And then after that, we're going to experience a lot of energy in Pisces, including Mercury retrograde in Pisces. For Sagittarius rising, Pisces is your 4th house. Pisces is your 4th house, meaning that there's going to be a review or revisiting in terms of your home, family, properties, lineage, whatever it is connected to homes and families. For the next rising sign, we will go to Capricorn rising, the most accurate, followed by Capricorn sun and Capricorn moon. For my dear Capricorn rising friend, February 2026 is going to be major because Saturn-Neptune conjunction will directly square you. Okay, first there's going to be a full moon in Leo earlier in the month. This full moon is going to highlight for Capricorn rising. This full moon is going to highlight your 8th house. House of shared resources, intimacy, and crisis and transformation. Whatever you've been doing in terms of the 8th house, the results are going to be illuminated by this full moon, including if you're investing. And then there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius in your 2nd house, because for Capricorn, Aquarius is your 2nd house. Something major that will shake your finances, but it will lead to growth. So be mindful. And then we're going to experience Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. For Capricorn rising, Aries is your 4th house. So there's going to be a solidification in terms of your relationship with your home and family and your lineage, emotional foundation. Whether it's a good relationship or a not so good relationship, Saturn will solidify it. So this is a long-term transit in your 4th house. And then after that, not only that, remember your Capricorn rising, Saturn is your chart ruler. It's moving into your 4th house. So your focus with the next 3 years, 3.5 years, or whatever, when your focus, as long as Saturn in your 4th house, your focus is going to be family. And then lastly, we're going to have experienced a lot of energy in Pisces, including Mercury retrograde in Pisces. For Capricorn, is happening in your 3rd house. This is Mercury in Pisces in the house of Mercury, 3rd house. Communication, siblings, skills, knowledge is going to be major, and there's going to be a revisit. There's going to be a review and something that needs to be revisited, or something from the past in terms of your communication or skills that need to be relearned, or you need to close that chapter. For the next rising sign, we will go to Aquarius rising, the most accurate, followed by Aquarius sun and Aquarius moon. For my dear Aquarius rising friends, this February 2026 is going to be major. First of all, eclipse is going to happen in your sign. So yeah, for the first thing, earlier in the month, we're going to experience full moon in Leo in your 7th house. There's going to be culmination, ending, and something that is finally given a green light by the universe, so you can see it, the result, in terms of your relationship, your partnership, your marriage, your business partnership. And then there's going to be new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius in your sign, 1st house. So something major, something unexpected could happen to you, whether it's your body, your aura, your energy, your appearance. Be mindful, and also just be careful. And then after that, we're going to experience Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. For Aquarius, Aries is your 3rd house. There's going to be a solidification, right? Solidification in terms of your communications, your siblings, whatever your relationship is with your siblings. If it's good, Saturn will solidify it. If it's not so good, Saturn will also solidify it. But because it is Saturn-Neptune conjunction, your dreams could come true in relative to your 3rd house, communication skills, right? This is a self-made wealth also. Just be mindful. And then lastly, we're going to experience a lot of energy in Pisces. For Aquarius rising, Pisces in your 2nd house, and Mercury will retrograde here. So there's going to be a review also regarding your money, your resources, your self-worth, anything that is of value. And also there's going to be something from the past that could come back, or you need to revisit something in terms of money from the past, so you can close it, or you can create some ending, because Pisces is the sign of ending. For the last rising sign, we will go to Pisces rising, the most accurate, followed by Pisces sun and Pisces moon. For my dear Pisces rising friends, this month of February is going to be major, because there's going to be a retrograde happening in your sign. So first of all, we're going to experience a full moon in Leo. For Pisces rising, Leo is your 6th house, because Pisces is the 1st, Virgo is the 7th, Leo is the 6th. There's going to be a culmination in terms of your work effort, your health effort, effort in terms of your pets, your daily grind, daily details, your chores. Something, the results of it can be shown by this full moon. And then there's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 12th house for Pisces rising. This is major because this is going to impact your mental health. Be mindful of that. I'm not asking you to be scared, but just be mindful of your mental health. And then there's going to be a Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries for Pisces rising. This is your 2nd house. Pisces 1st house, Aries 2nd house. There's going to be a major solidification of money, wealth, if you can take advantage of this long-term transit. But if you're not careful, your money, problem could be worsening, or there's going to be a draining energy, or even more constricting energy in terms of your second house, finances. So be mindful. Use the best that you can use in terms of your Saturn-Neptune conjunction in your money house. Be meticulous, be detailed, because Neptune, if you just rely on Neptune alone in the second house, it will literally drain your finances if you're not be careful. Saturn here is going to help you. And then of course, after the eclipse and the conjunction, we're going to experience a lot of energies in Pisces. Sun, Venus, and Mercury will transit your first house. But the most important thing is that Mercury is going to retrograde in Pisces in your first house, meaning that there's going to be a review in terms of you, your appearance, who you are, your identity, your body, your energy, your aura. Everything is going to be reviewed because of this retrograde in your first house.